was, or asked them a simple question, and they went on and on and on, and said a bunch of things, but at the end of it, you weren't really sure what they were trying to say. That has a lot to do with a concept called main idea. And let me show you an example. Hey, Miss Rayton, how was your day?
All right, so I'm really glad you asked. I actually had a really great day today. I woke up at like 9:30, and it was, I was really happy because I'm moving from Syracuse in about a week, and so I'm really happy for every extra day I get here. So I woke up, and then I went to the bathroom, and I brushed my teeth, and then I got dressed, and then I looked out my window, and, I got to look out at my street, and I really like the place that I live. I like my house. And then I ate breakfast, and I had really good breakfast. I got cereal, which was really good. And then after that, I watched a little bit of TV, and I'm not going to have a TV in the new place that I live, so that was really nice. And then I went to the dog park, and I love the dog park here, and I saw all the puppies running around and playing with each other, and that's
all right. Hold on a second. Can you just give me the main idea?
Alright, so I actually had a really good day today. I am moving from Syracuse down to Washington, D.C., the capital of America, in about a week. And so I really want to make the best of the time that I have left here. So today I got to hang out with my housemate, who I'm going to miss a lot, and I got to go to the dog park. And those are two of my favorite things to do in Syracuse.
Whew, much better. So you wanted to enjoy your day in Syracuse before you had to move to another place, Washington, D.C. That sounds like the main idea. Hello, soon-to-be fourth graders, and welcome to Day 1 of Summer Scholars 2020. And for the next 2 days, we're going to be focusing on reading and writing, what you might think of as CKLA. And the idea that I think is most important from what we learned in this entire subject this year is the concept of main idea. And the reason why I think main idea is so important to make sure we have down pat before fourth grade is because you're going to use this idea or this concept for the rest of your lives. You're going to use it in high school, you're going to use it in college, and you're going to use it in whatever job that you choose to do in the future. And so being able to figure out what the main idea is and set aside all of the other details is really important. So today, let's review what we learned this year, because you should already have an idea of what the main idea is. So if I asked you, what does main idea mean? What would you say? Think about it for a few seconds. Think back all the way to, 6 months ago when we first learned about this. What do you think the definition of main idea is? So I bet whatever you came up with is probably a pretty good definition. But let me give you the formal definition that you might find in a dictionary about what main idea means. The main idea is what the text is mostly about, and what the author wants the reader to remember most. And so even though in this definition it's talking about a text or something that we read, we can use the main idea to figure out what's important about a song we like, or about a movie we watched, or about something that we read, or someone that we talked to. And an important thing with main idea is that you have to be able to back it up with something called key details, or small pieces of information that we use to tell someone what the main idea is. So that's a common thing that some of us have trouble with. Sometimes we pick out a key detail in a story, and we think that's what the story is all about. But really, the main idea is the most important thing that whoever's talking or writing to us wants us to know, and the key details are how we can explain what we think the main idea is. So you'll know when you get the main idea, when you're able to figure it out and tell someone else, and they understand you. So we can talk all day about what main idea means and its definition, but the best way to make sure that we know how to use this concept is to actually put it into practice. So right now we're going to take a look at a informational text. We're going to take a look at a song, and we're going to take a look at a how-to video, and we're going to pull the main ideas out of each of those three things. And we'll see if we can figure out what the main idea is and how we can separate it from the smaller details in that piece.
So the first piece we're going to look at is an informational text about basketball. Let's try to figure out, as we're going along, what we think the main idea might be. Let's start reading. Basketball. And we're going to ignore this stuff on the side because it does not apply to us.
Now, I hate to interrupt myself so quickly after I started reading, but this is an important thing to point out. One of the best places to look for the main idea is in the title of what you're reading.
Okay, so here's page 1. And we have a subheading here, and it says Naismith's Success. And Naismith is a name of somebody. No matter how talented the player, everyone must work together to get the balance that makes for success. Watching a team play like a well-oiled machine is the reason most fans pack arenas everywhere. Tomorrow's basketball stars are practicing now on basketball courts around the world. Whether they are competing in school leagues or simply shooting hoops with neighbors in the park or the driveway, the more they play, the better they will get. Anyone who wants to play basketball can just pick up a ball and look for the nearest hoop. In the WNBA, Maya Moore quickly became a star player and gained attention as one of the best female athletes in her sport. 4-time United States team member and University of Connecticut star Breanna Stewart has been named Player of the Year more than once and has helped the United States national team win 4 gold medals. These players and many more have given a lot to the sport, but perhaps one player helped to shape modern basketball more than any other. In the 1950s, a 6-foot, 10-inch player named George Mikan brought to the game great ability and love of the sport itself. He was one of the first big men who changed basketball from being a sport of small and quick players into that of giants. Present-day basketball would be very different without Mikan's talent. And 6'10", if some of you don't know, is very tall.
All right, let me jump in here again. When you're reading, one thing to look out for that might trip you up is key details that you might think are the main idea. So after reading just that section, you might think the main idea might be about Maya Moore or George Mikan. But you won't know unless you keep reading. So don't stop there. Let's keep going and see if the main idea really is about those people or it's about something else.
A game of excitement. Basketball is a game of excitement, and things change quickly during games. A few seconds left on the clock can be enough to turn a loss into a win. And there is nothing more exciting than watching a player take a last-second shot far from the basket. In that moment, all eyes are on the ball. Everyone wonders if it will fly through the net, bounce off the rim, or be an air ball that misses completely. Dream teams. Professional basketball is full of some of the most exciting people in sports. These players draw fans to the sport who often talk as much about the players' lively personalities as they talk about their talent. Players such as Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, Shaquille O'Neal, Magic Johnson, and LeBron James were human record-breaking machines. And off the court, players often become famous personalities. But on the court, few stars fail to prove their amazing basketball skills. And I haven't been pointing them out, but you can see that there's a bunch of pictures in this text too. And the pictures have captions next to them if you want to read them. And here's one that says basketball player positions. Teams are often organized so players play the same positions or roles. The point guard, who is usually the best ball handler, controls the ball and makes sure it reaches the right player at the right time. The shooting guard handles long shots, while on offense, the small forward uses speed to steal the ball from the other team and to make shots close to the basket. The power forward plays with his or her back to the basket while on offense, staying open for the pass. The center uses his or her height to score when on offense and to protect the basket when on defense. Referees enforce the rules of the game and call fouls when players make unfair contact. Early days. Although basketball is now a global sport, it started small in 1891. Dr. James Naismith, a Canadian-born teacher in Massachusetts, was concerned about how to get his students to exercise enough during the cold winters. He set out to invent a sport that could be played indoors. After a few tries, he hit gold by nailing a peach basket up to the wall. He called his new sport basketball. Basketball quickly swept the country, becoming popular at schools, and part of the reason for its popularity was the ease with which it could be played. All you needed was a ball, a basket, and a court. Men's and women's basketball started in schools in 1892, and by the 1920s, dozens of schools in the United States offered varsity high school basketball teams. Basketball remained mostly an American pastime until 1949, when the National Basketball Association, or NBA, began. After the NBA formed, basketball became the major league sport that it is today. And play is fast. Teams change between playing offense or defense as the ball moves quickly back and forth on the court. The ball can only move if it is being dribbled or bounced by a player, or passed, tossed to another player. Passing the ball to a team player in the right position at the right time can result in scoring a basket. Rules of the game. 2 teams of 5 players play a game of basketball. The game takes place on the court. There is a hoop at each end attached to a backboard, 10 feet above the floor. The object of the game is to throw or shoot the basketball into the opposing team's hoop. And a team earns 2 points for making a shot, 3 points for making a shot from behind the 3-point line, and 1 point for each foul shot. A game is made up of 4 quarters, which in the NBA are 12 minutes long. More popular than ever. In the United States, there are professional and amateur players of all ages. The NBA has 30 teams. The WNBA, or Women's National Basketball Association, has 12 teams. There are 336 national college teams, and almost every high school has a basketball team. Basketball camps are available for younger students, and just about every park with a court has regular pickup games going. Global phenomenon. While it is not yet as popular as soccer, the sport of basketball is growing around the world, and the tipping point came in 1992 when the United States sent the Dream Team to the Olympic Games. The Dream Team was the first Olympic team made of NBA players, and the whole world saw some of the greatest players ever win the gold medal. Countries such as China, India, and Australia are playing more and more basketball every year. The game has been hugely popular in the Philippines for many years, though. In fact, the largest basketball venue in the world is the Philippine Arena, which can hold 50,000 fans.
So that was pretty interesting. And lucky for us, that's one of the longest informational texts that you'd ever see as a third grader. So if we can get through that, we can get through basically anything. But how do we find what the main idea is in a piece that long? And basically the trick here is to find pieces of the main idea in different parts of the text. If we can find our main idea in more than one paragraph, or 2 or 3 paragraphs, it means that it's not just a key detail, it's a really important idea. So one of the things that I found that could be the main idea in that text is maybe that basketball is a very popular sport that's changed a lot over time. Do you agree? Do you think that's the main idea? Here's how we can check to see if that's a good main idea or not. We have to go back and figure out what the key details that support that main idea are. So now that I have my main idea, basketball is popular and has changed a lot over time. Now I have to give you 3 details to support that main idea so that you'll believe me. And the first detail I'm going to pick out is that one of the subheadings for a paragraph is called more popular than ever. And that shows us that a big part of the main idea is that basketball is popular. So here's the next detail. If I want to convince you that the main idea is that basketball is popular and has changed a lot over time, another detail that I would use is a guy named Naismith started the game of basketball by putting peach baskets on the wall and called it basketball. We don't use peach baskets today to play basketball, and that tells us that the game of basketball has changed a lot over time. So I think that's a good detail. And the last detail to show you that basketball is popular and has changed a lot over time is the fact that the article said that basketball used to just be an American pastime or an American sport, but now it's played all over the world. And they gave us an example of people playing basketball in the Philippines, where the biggest stadium in the world is for basketball now. So that detail tells us that basketball has changed a lot over time and is spread all across the world, and that it's getting more and more popular as time goes on. That makes it a really good detail. So that's basically how you find the main idea in an article that's that big. Now, an important part of this for you to know is that you might have different main ideas, and they might all be right. The more important part is that you can support that main idea with at least 3 details from the text. If you can give 3 good details, then your main idea is probably pretty good. So if you don't really agree with me, or your main idea for that article is a little bit different, that's okay. You just have to be able to convince people with key details that your main idea is right. So now we're going to practice this in a few other contexts. And for your assignment today, or your challenge task, is you're going to figure out the main idea from 3 different kinds of communication. You're going to look at a song, then you're going to look at a video of a girl teaching you how to make a lemonade stand, and finally you're going to read another informational text. And you're going to practice this and see if you can pull out the main idea and key details for each of those things. So I'm not going to keep you here all day. I want you to be able to try your challenge task on your own. So head to Google Classroom, find that Google Form assignment, and see how you do. And I will be around at 10 o'clock for office hours on Zoom chat for anybody who wants help figuring out what the main idea of these things are. I hope this was a good refresher, and I can't wait to talk to you guys for a live lesson tomorrow about main idea.